Good evening. Good evening and welcome to the Founders Awards Banquet, celebrating 125 years of Southern Utah University. Please welcome to the stage Vice President of Advancement and Enrollment Management, Stuart Jones.
Welcome, friends. It is wonderful to welcome you to the Southern Utah University Founders Banquet. Do you realize it has been 3 years since we've gathered? We were all set and ready to go, and COVID struck just a few weeks before we were going to have our banquet. So it is a special delight to welcome you here tonight. This occasion is where we get to recall the storied founding of this university. We get to talk about that wonderful horse and that epic story. And we also love to remember not only these portraits and those that adorn the walls, but all whose service and sacrifice has brought this university to where it is today. And we're especially honored to be here tonight to celebrate the 125th anniversary. That's a historic moment. I want to recognize some of our special guests, and as I do so, would you go ahead and start eating your salad, because I'm going to introduce a few people. From the Utah State Board of Education, Stacy Bettridge, would you stand and be recognized? Thank you. From the university's Board of Trustees, Chair Rich Christensen, Vice Chair Jody Hart-Wilson, and board members Beverly Burgess, Marilee Iyer, Sidney Nacken, Eric Schmutz, and Mike Wankier. Would they stand and be recognized? We are deeply honored tonight to have 5 of the 6 individuals who have served as president of this university in the last quarter century. I don't know how often that's going to happen. The only one we're missing is interim president Greg Stauffer, who lives in Denver, Colorado. But it is a treat that they would be here for this special occasion. Leading us into our 2nd century was the grandson of the man who led us into the 1st century. Please welcome President Emeritus Steve Bennion and First Lady Marjorie Bennion. We're pleased to welcome back to campus President Emeritus Michael Benson, now serving as president at Coastal Carolina in Conway, South Carolina. We have with us tonight former interim president and former commissioner of higher education, Rich Kendall. And we have President Emeritus Scott Wyatt, now serving as Senior Executive Director of Statewide Online Education, and First Lady Kathy Wyatt. Now, I'd make them all stand up and do a big deal, but we have more coming in the program. We also have with us our interim president, who I'm standing here on behalf of. Would you please welcome Mindy Benson? I want to recognize some of our civic leaders who are with us tonight. Senators Evan Vickers and Don Ipson. What an amazing job they did at the legislature for SUU this year. Would they stand and be recognized? And we have with us tonight Iron County Commissioners Mike Blake and Paul Cousins. Would they please stand? And Cedar City Council members Terry Hartley, Craig Isom, Scott Phillips, and Ron Riddle. Let's give them a hand. And representing the Paiute Tribe of Utah, Shane Parashance. Would he please stand? I'd also like to recognize our outgoing 2-time student body president from Mali, West Africa, Newman Conte. Where is Newman? There he is. We're indebted to you for your service, and we look forward to staying in touch and watching how your story unfolds. We also want to introduce our newly elected student body president, McKay Pullman from Tooele, Utah. And on Tuesday, the university hosted the annual Howard R. Driggs Memorial Lecture, where Dr. Alan Gelzo, a foremost Lincoln scholar, gave a fascinating presentation on Lincoln entitled 10 True Lies About Abraham Lincoln. And tonight, we're pleased to have with us the founder of the Howard R. Driggs Memorial Foundation and Dr. Driggs' stepdaughter, whose generosity makes possible the lecture and the collection in his honor. Please help me recognize Camille Bradford from Denver, Colorado. Tonight, we're also pleased to welcome descendants of our early founders, members of the university's National Alumni Board, Community Advisory Board, President's Council, faculty, staff, alumni, and the university's administration. And finally, tonight, we're especially grateful to pay tribute to 3 honorees whose lives have been marked by uncommon dedication to this community, to this region, and to this state. They will be more formally introduced later in the program, but I want to welcome and recognize Tom and Carolyn Higbee and their family, and the late Fred C. Adams' family and friends who are with us. We are deeply honored to have you here tonight. Thank you. Well, we have a full evening planned for you, so please continue with your dinner. Compliments of Chartwell's. Ladies and gentlemen, I do hate to interrupt good conversation, but as you continue your dinner, we'd like to proceed with our program. Let me first express appreciation to Shayla Jessup Cheney, a piano performance major from West Jordan, for providing our beautiful dinner music. Thank you. Tonight, as we kick off the 125th celebration, we thought you might enjoy going down memory lane for a few minutes and seeing what this university and this campus has done on a couple of other anniversary occasions. Our 50th anniversary celebration took place in 1947. President Truman formulated the Truman Doctrine that year. That was from Mike Benson, our scholar, local. Jackie Robinson became the first African-American player in Major League Baseball. Over 1 million veterans enrolled in college through the GI Bill that year. Miracle on 34th Street was released, and the Diary of Anne Frank was published. The average cost of a loaf of bread was 13 cents, and Utah celebrated that year the 100th anniversary of those early pioneers that settled in what is now Salt Lake Valley. On our campus, the 50th anniversary was celebrated with events throughout the year, which were dubbed the Golden Jubilee. The celebration included numerous dances, an opera, and with the culminating event being a large outdoor pageant entitled College Cavalcade, in which they reenacted the founding and the progress of the university through those 5 decades. Ann Levitt has written a beautiful account of that in the SUU 100 Years book. For our 100th celebration in 1997, President Jerry Sherritt, along with Chair Harold Hiskey, oversaw a year-long celebration and the unveiling each month of 12 intellectual figures from Western history. The year-long celebration concluded with a concert modestly dubbed Celebration of the Century. And then the next day, the culminating event was the Centennial Convocation. President Sherritt asked me to head up the concert. And I immediately recruited as my co-chair a rather gullible new employee that I had known in a club that I had advised called the Student Alumni Association. Her name was Mindy Benson. And she's been doing events and concerts ever since. The concert featured performers such as the Golden Boys, starring Frankie Avalon, Fabian, Bobby Rydell, a popular student group called the Trenchcoats. And then our headliner was a country swooner by the name of Colin Ray. Now, rumor has it that Colin Ray took a bit of a shine from my co-chair, and that perhaps a long friendship began that night. But I would never bring it up on an occasion like this because I like my job way too much, so let's just ignore that part. The next day, the Centennial Convocation will truly go down as one of the most memorable and historic days in this university's history. Among the platform guests were former President George H.W. Bush, LDS Church President Gordon B. Hinckley, Governor Michael O. Leavitt, the former Surgeon General C. Everett Koop, one of 12 men to have walked on the moon, the Tabernacle Choir, who sang their epic rendition, Battle Hymn of the Republic, and on and on. It was a day not to be forgotten. I would be curious, by raise of hand, of how many of you were there that day. Wow. Wow is right. I remarked at Jerry Sherritt's funeral that I am certain that if we could see the phone records of his from that time, we would see repeated calls to the Vatican and Buckingham Palace, because he made no small plans. Well, now tonight we commence the 125th anniversary celebration of this university. And it seems only fitting and a bit fortuitous that new employee that cut her event management teeth at the 100th anniversary is at the helm 25 years later, leading us into our 125th celebration. But more than that, Mindy's devotion to this place and her, wow, I didn't know I'd get this. This is really going to get sentimental here. Yeah, I think that's a cue. I got it. I'm almost done. Her devotion to this place, her concern for others, and her unflappable demeanor has helped calm the feelings of uncertainty and uneasiness that naturally occur during a presidential transition. And she's helped all of the university stakeholders, all of us that care so deeply about this place, to feel heard, to feel valued, and to feel reassured. And for that, we are most grateful. Would you please help me welcome to the podium Interim President Mindy Benson.
My goodness, that was a bold move to go there with Colin Ray. Stuart, thank you for that. I will neither confirm nor deny, but I will say thank you for the introduction. It's been a meaningful 25 years with Colin. Anyway, thank you all for joining us tonight at this special occasion. As I look around the room, each of you have played a crucial role in our last 25 years and in the life and history of SUU. We're happy that you would choose to join us for this special occasion and celebrate with us tonight. As part of the celebration of our 125th anniversary, we have a special and rare opportunity. As Stuart said, we have each president who led us through the past 25 years and 2 of the 3 interim presidents. And we would like to salute these presidents who so aptly guided us to great progress with this video. Any of you know who know me and know about events know that I love things like this. It's my favorite part. So there should be 3 backups to this. Is it happening? Yay! Isn't that fun to look back on? There's been a lot of history. They don't know about this part, but I'm going to invite them one by one up to stage. And no, they didn't agree to this because I knew they wouldn't come back. So we're actually going to start a little bit out of order because President Benson the First has a plane to catch. So we're going to start with him. Steve, if you'll join me on stage as the bio is read.
Michael T. Benson, SUU's 15th president, who took office in 2007, established the institution as the state's premier and only public liberal arts and sciences institution. He implemented the school's largest and most ambitious comprehensive fundraising campaign, The Future is Rising, and successfully raised over $100 million, securing the largest private gift in the school's history at that time. He led the effort to construct the Beverly Taylor Sorensen Center for the Arts, including the Engelstad Shakespeare Theater and the Southern Utah Museum of Arts. He also led the effort to build the L.S. and Aline W. Skaggs Center for Health and Molecular Sciences, the Cedar Hall Housing Complex, and the Carter Carillon, which is now at the heart of a beloved campus tradition, as well as the naming of the Walter Maxwell Gibson College of Science and Engineering. Moreover, he substantially increased resources for instruction. He augmented full-time faculty ranks by 15% while raising average faculty and staff salaries. He also had a significant impact on SUU athletics and led the university's successful bid into the Big Sky Conference. Stephen D. Benyon, in his 9 years as president, beginning in 1997, spearheaded a well-thought-out focus on the mission of the university and led expansion efforts of the institution. He oversaw the renovation of Old Main. He led the effort to build the Emma Eccles Jones Education Building, the Sorensen PE Building, South Hall, the Eccles Living Learning Center, as well as SUU's first endowed chair in the College of Education and Human Development. Among his many achievements, he shepherded the campus's Weber State Nursing Program to SUU autonomy, began an honors program, and oversaw the addition of 2 new colleges, several new majors and baccalaureate programs, as well as postgraduate programs. In addition, he named the Center for Politics and Public Service after Michael O. Levitt, and also established a collection in his honor in the Gerald R. Sherritt Library. His championing of the teacher education program and the Emma Eccles Jones Education Building was an extension of the work his grandfather, Milton Benyon, performed as the institution's first leader. Rich Kendall, a former commissioner of the Utah System of Higher Education, was named Southern Utah University's interim president in May of 2013. In the first days of his administration, Kendall encouraged faculty and staff not to slow down during the presidential transition phase. He put forth the rigorous challenge of expanding enrollment by 2,000 students within 5 years. Kendall's campaign, entitled Smart Growth, promoted increased student enrollment while still preserving SUU's hallmark of offering personalized learning, experiential education, and academic excellence. Dr. Kendall has a 35-year professional career, highlighted by his time as the commissioner of the Utah System of Higher Education. He was also the deputy to Governor Michael O. Levitt for public education, higher education, and economic development, as well as the superintendent of the Davis School District. Scott L. Wyatt served 7.5 years and oversaw significant enrollment and retention growth, innovation of programs, while holding tuition flat, reducing student fees, and increasing scholarships. During his tenure, campus enrollment grew by 60% and retention grew by 16%, all while maintaining high-quality programming, small class sizes, and increased graduation rates. He launched a $9,000 online Bachelor of General Studies degree, a 3-year bachelor's degree program, and forged a new and successful dual enrollment partnership with Southwest Tech. Student success was the hallmark of his legacy. He trademarked SUU as the University of the Parks, and he and his wife, Kathy, famously turned over their presidential home to aid student parents with affordable on-campus child care. He led the efforts to construct a new business building and named the school after our largest benefactor, the Dixie L. Levitt School of Business. President Wyatt also obtained funding for the Eccles Athletic Performance Center and the Cumming Academic Classroom Building. He also transitioned SUU athletics into the Western Athletic Conference starting this fall. His leadership in online learning was so successful that last year he became Senior Executive Director of statewide online education for Utah.
Let's give them all another round of applause for their 25 years of collective service. We now have a fabulous and very fitting musical number. Melinda Funstein, originally from Las Vegas, is a proud alumna of SUU and a longtime member of the acting and directing company of the Utah Shakespeare Festival. In her over 22 seasons, she has played nearly 40 roles and directed multiple shows, including All's Well That Ends Well this summer. Additionally, she served as a faculty member in SUU's Department of Theater Arts and Dance. She will be singing a most fitting number for tonight as we celebrate our founders, the anniversary of SUU, and a dreamer in Fred Adams. Singing Impossible Dream, please welcome Melinda Funstein, accompanied by Krista Corey.
Impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, unrightable wrong, to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star. No matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for that heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world will be better for this, that one man scorned and covered with scars still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable stars.
That's not good. The tears are already flowing. That was spectacular. Thank you, Melinda and Krista. We really appreciate you for adding that magic moment to the evening. Thank you. Let's get into the awards portion of our evening. Tonight, we're pleased to pay a special tribute to a select group of individuals whose extraordinary service and commitment to SUU and to Cedar City have earned them the SUU Distinguished Service and the Presidential Medallion of Service. Tom and Carolyn Higbee and the late Fred C. Adams. Distinguished service for Tom and Carolyn Higbee has truly come to be synonymous with the work of the Higbees, who have long been grand members and exceptional contributors to the quality in our region and to SUU. Let's watch this video.
The legacy of the founders is a powerful bond, one that echoes through the generations. President Wyatt urged 9 years ago that we trek back up the mountain and reinvigorate our heritage, spurring many to embody the pioneers' traditions of service and dedication to the future. Descendants of the founders abound among us, and Thomas Higbee and Carolyn Carter Higbee are two who embraced their legacy, the Webster, Higbee, and Jones families, with both humility and vigor, and have throughout their lives. Sweethearts at Cedar High, they were married when Tom was 19 and Carolyn was 20. She's fond of saying she raised him from a pup. He had been a typical Cedar boy whose life revolved around outdoor activities and varied sports, and he was a member of the Redmond state champion golf team in 1971. Carolyn's greatest desire was to be a wife and mother, and she had learned much growing up as the youngest of 4 girls who shared a single bathroom. She attended the university for a year and worked in the early years of marriage before being blessed, as she says, to be a stay-at-home mom. She did find time over the years, though, to enter into a great span of community service, including for Meals on Wheels, in the PTA, as a reading mother at 2 elementary schools, and with 5 sons in the Cedar Little League and Cedar High Booster Clubs. Her dedication to service also included valued contributions to the university, with stints on the Alumni Council and the Board of Trustees. Over the years, she and Tom contributed much of their time and treasures to the advancement of the institution. Of special interest has been the Utah Shakespeare Festival, where they have both been devoted patrons and advocates of the festival. Tom is a 1976 graduate of the university, where he played on the golf team for 4 years and toyed with political science as a freshman. In his sophomore year, though, influenced by Professor David Lee, as were many students, he thought he'd teach English literature on the collegiate level and took his degree in that major. However, he settled on the law as a career and enrolled in the University of Utah Law School. Carolyn worked hard to support the young family during Tom's years in law school, and they eventually returned to their hometown, he joining with Hans Chamberlain in a law firm. Over the years, his work in the law flourished. He found it challenging and fulfilling with a diversity of cases. He accepted the responsibility to help people, often in the most difficult times of their lives. In January 2001, his abilities, wisdom, and talent earned him a seat on the bench as the 5th District Juvenile Court Judge, serving more than 17 years as a greatly impactful figure in the judicial realm of southern Utah. He was ever praised for his wisdom, fairness, and compassion, as well as his dedication to upholding the standards of the greater community. He was a highly contributive member of the general public as well, involved in a wide range of civic causes, and was an active member of the expanded campus community, supporting, with his wife, the arts and athletics, and teaching adjunct classes in criminal justice and business on occasion. He also regularly advised students on future law careers and other matters, and his wise leadership on the SUU Board of Trustees and Community Advisory Board highlights his service to the institution. He retired from the bench in April 2018, boxing up a room full of awards, and that September he and Carolyn left to serve a mission in Russia for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. After finding their time there challenging and rewarding, they nevertheless expressed a heightened love for their own country. Today, the Higbees serve in the Cedar City Temple and maintain their great love for their community and its university. Including daughters-in-law, the second generation of their family can boast 6 SUU degrees. Tom and Carolyn have 12 grandchildren and another on the way, all spread across Utah and into Nevada, and much visitation is planned. Whatever they do and wherever they go, though, they hold dear their association with and commitment to Southern Utah University, which tonight honors them with its Distinguished Service Award.
As Tom and Carolyn make their way to the stage, will their family and friends please stand and be recognized?
Well, sandwiched between the presidents and Melinda on the one and Fred on the other. A little intimidating, but we're very, very grateful to be here. You know, Wednesday, the Iron County newspaper ran a story on the college farm, as we always call it, and I thought as I read that, my very first memory of the college was at that college farm. My grandma and Grandpa Miles lived on the corner of 500 West and 200 South in Cedar. And right across the street was the college farm, right where basically the Char-One Smith Center was. Oak Hall, Char-One Smith Center. And then the college farm was right there where the Smith Center was. And then the clock turns, and Carolyn and I are both students here, and then the clock turns again, and then our kids are students here, and then the clock turns again, and here we are. And looking back, we see that, and have known all along, that the university has been a part of our lives our entire life. And it has been a great blessing to us. So thank you for this award. We're so appreciative and grateful for our association with the university these many years.
And I will just say a big thank you to all, and go T-Birds.
You can always tell how long someone has been around Cedar City by how they refer to SUU as the college, right? That's how we grew up. We just call it the college. Thank you so much for your service and for all you continue to do for your community. You've made a big difference. Thank you. Fred, how do you even do justice in introducing Fred? Are there words? There are not. All I can say is Fred Adams shaped me as a 12-year-old Tart girl and so many other people in this room. And I think you'll find that out tonight. Let's watch about Fred.
It can be quite effectively argued that were there a Mount Rushmore of the most important figures in this second half of the life of the university, it would include Fred C. Adams. The Professor Emeritus of Theater Arts and founder of the Utah Shakespeare Festival was dutifully engaged in his cherished and sterling calling until the day of his passing in February of 2020 at the age of 89. He had not long before been named a recipient of this institution's Presidential Medallion of Service. It is bestowed in recognition of his 6 decades of uncommon contributions to the university and its students, as well as to the greater population, extending to the world and attracting its people to us. Indeed, the impact Fred Adams made on our domain is far beyond estimation or description. Born in Cedar City in 1931, Fred grew up in Parowan and Delta, Utah, and Montpelier, Idaho. With the encouragement of his mother Louise and father Paul, he gained an appreciation for the arts and for movies and stage plays in particular, and he began to hone his great talent for storytelling. His love of theater and his industriousness grew with him as he delivered distinguished Pentagon service during the Korean War, shined as a BYU student, and served a 3-year Finnish mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He returned to town in 1959 to teach at what was then the College of Southern Utah. The institution's growth and development paralleled his own over the succeeding 6 decades, and his great role in that advancement is unmistakable. His initial charge here was to enliven the college's theater arts program. What he did went far beyond what anyone could have imagined. Anyone other than Fred, that is. Along the way, he enjoyed a richly earned theatrical reputation and garnered permission to mount regional premieres of many Broadway hits. This is not surprising. Through the recognition and application of his gifts, the university earned a grand diversity of benefits. He was a greatly popular and dedicated teacher, and his winning personality made theater students a part of a family, which was his earnest intent. He ever had the desire and ability to make people feel good and good about themselves. Fred Adams was one who truly magnified his responsibilities, building not only a respected department, but a corollary to it that gained international renown and praise for his talents. It also became a magnet for tourism and for recruitment not only of students, but of friends of the university. In his career, Fred worked with every president of the institution, as that title was not in use here until 1965, when independence from USU was granted. His unique charm and ability to paint word pictures helped steer him through the occasional skepticism of institutional leadership, and his experience and ability to trust his colleagues guided him to the solution to problems both expected and otherwise. The tale of the birth of the Utah Shakespeare Festival is well known. How he and his future bride and partner in his work, high school teacher Barbara Gaddy, met to do laundry together at the Fluffy Bundle laundromat. There, they hatched the audacious plan of a festival with many purposes. Not only would it entertain, enlighten, and provide student opportunities, it would also draw tourists and, the couple thought brashly, ensure the future of the town and region. What boldness and foresight that initial, tiny 1962 production went on to become one of the world's great events centered on the Bard, a Tony Award-winning enterprise that begat a number of new theaters here, and the addition of the works of other playwrights. It joined our topography as our hallmark tourist attraction. It brought great attention and benefits to Southern Utah University, and also, again, brought the institution thousands of new students over the years. Even after his official retirement as festival executive producer in 2005, Fred maintained a singular devotion to his creation, raising funds, and even planting flowers and picking weeds on the grounds that were, in a very real sense, his dominion. Thus, on this evening of reverence for the founders, we celebrate Fred Crookshank Adams, who channeled their spirit and vision with impassioned teaching and the creation of what has become a Tony Award-winning phenomenon now in its 61st year. Fred's festival has brought prestige and acclaim to not only his hometown, but to the region and state and markedly to Southern Utah University. All here mourn his passing and tonight salute him and his beloved family, including daughters Glynis and Dorcas, sons Addison and Joshua, and 14 grandchildren and 2 great-grandchildren, which were so important to Fred. Each will forever be treasured members of our family as well.
As Fred's children, Dorcas, Glynis, and Addison, make their way to the stage, we invite family and friends of Fred Adams to stand and be recognized.
You'll have to forgive me if I read a little speech. I'm not like my father and can wing it. He would just throw something off the cuff and it would be marvelous, but I will do my best. As the family of Fred Adams, we would like to thank everyone involved in selecting our father for this honor. As you are aware, this was supposed to happen in 2020. Dad was informed of the honor and was so looking forward to the Founders Day celebration. But unfortunately, he passed away just before the banquet was to take place that year. We were all ready to accept the honor in his behalf, and then COVID shut everything down. We are so happy to be able to accept this honor for Dad. He loved Southern Utah University with all his heart and was a Thunderbird through and through. As kids, our lives were also wrapped up in this institution. From nights spent with Dad at rehearsals in the auditorium building, to summers in the Adams Memorial Theater, to attending classes as full-fledged Thunderbirds ourselves, we were raised to know that this institution was a special place. Dad knew that the heart of Southern Utah University is the people who come here. The students who arrive as freshmen and leave ready to face the world, prepared for the career paths they have chosen. The professors who give so much of their time and energy to developing world-class programs, and to the administration who work tirelessly to make sure that all the moving parts fit together seamlessly. This is a place where every person is important. There's something magical about this school. There is not another campus where a young professor could dream big and stay long enough to see that dream become a reality. Southern Utah University gave our father a place, the encouragement, and the time to build the Utah Shakespeare Festival. The buildings he helped create will last, but the most enduring legacy he leaves behind are the lives he touched. Dad was so pleased to be given this honor, and I know that if he were here tonight, he would have an individual message for each one of you. He would give you that smile, the one that let you know you were the most important person to him at that moment, and he would thank you for being a part of his journey. Dad had the distinct honor to work with every president of this university from the beginning. That's quite a feat. I know that he would be most proud to be receiving this award under the auspices of President Mindy Benson, a woman he watched grow from a young tart seller to the amazing, capable leader that she is today. Thank you for this honor.
Oh my goodness, that is not fair to launch something like that and then walk off the stage. Thank you for those beautiful words, and thank you for sharing your father with us all for so many decades. I know we all grew up on this campus, but you all especially grew up under the green show tree, and there was no going home. You were always here, I know that. You're part of campus fixture, and I thank you for sharing your dad with us. Congratulations to our honorees, Tom and Carolyn. Thank you so much for your remarkable service and all you do for our community and for our campus. Thank you for being patient with us for 2 years until we could do this sans COVID. And to Fred and Fred's family and friends, thank you for the remarkable dream that has changed the stars in Cedar City. I want to start with a couple of important things, and I'll invite Shane Parashantz to come up and join me on stage. Shane, are you still here? Shane, yes, come on. Shane's coming up. SUU is unveiling tonight as part of the 125th anniversary, an important step that ties back to the founding of this institution. We are happy to announce a land acknowledgement agreement with the Paiute Tribe of Utah. The people of the Paiute Tribe are important stakeholders within our community and within SUU. Come on up. We're working together on a number of important and special projects and issues, and we recognize that they were residents of Cedar City when SUU was founded, and hope to continue a symbiotic relationship that we share. I want to explain a little bit. The land acknowledgement agreement is printed in your program, and you can see the full land acknowledgement agreement there. But this started in early 2021. The Native American Student Association actually approached President Wyatt about this and was interested in having a land acknowledgement agreement and to acknowledge the indigenous inhabitants of Cedar City in this area. So it was a student initiative. The students approached President Wyatt, and we've continued it since. In order to formalize the land acknowledgement, Danica Suberbill convened a group of campus and community stakeholders, including tribal members, to form the Land Acknowledgement Task Force. Representing the Tribal Council tonight is Shane Parashantz, and I have him up here to help me pronounce some words and to show the partnership. And the full statement I invite you to read in the program tonight. I know we have members of the Native American Student Association and members of the committee here tonight. Would they please stand and be recognized? Thank you. The land acknowledgement statement reads, SUU wishes to acknowledge and honor the indigenous communities of this region as original possessors, stewards, and inhabitants of this Tuvi land, and recognize that the university is situated on the traditional homelands of the Nungwu Southern Paiute people. We recognize that these lands have deeply rooted spiritual, cultural, and historical significance to the Southern Paiutes. We offer gratitude for the land itself, for the collaborative and resilient nature of the Southern Paiute people, and for the continuous opportunity to study, learn, work, and build community on their homelands here today. Consistent with the university's ongoing commitment to equity, diversity, and inclusion, SUU works towards building meaningful relationships with Native nations and Indigenous communities through academic pursuits, partnerships, historical recognitions, community service, and student success efforts. Thank you for allowing us to do this, and thank you for your partnership. We sincerely appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. As we kick off the 125th celebration, there is a committee, of course, behind that who has done remarkable work for the last year. And it's a year-long celebration, so their duties are just beginning. Their names are also printed in your program. And if any of them are here, I would love them to stand up and be recognized, please. I know I've seen some of you here. Don't try to hide now. Thank you for the remarkable work that you are doing to celebrate our history and to celebrate our community. I'll tell you a few interesting things that you will see happening. Our faculty have integrated the 125th celebration into the curriculum, and they have been teaching the history of SUU. One of the classes taught by Ryan Paul and Paula Mitchell. The students were able to choose a member of the Great Hall and write a history about them and present on the history of one of the people in these portraits. So it was so fun. I was actually able to go see them present on the history of my dad. It was really fun to see the students bring to life some of these historical figures that they think are just people who from a long time ago, right? They're here and they're with us, and it's wonderful to see that revived. The faculty have truly embraced it as part of their curriculum, and that's been wonderful to see, and you will see quite a few things roll out into the K-12 school district. We want the students to learn the history of the 125. We wouldn't be who we are and we wouldn't be where we are without the support of this community. We were founded by community members and we understand how important that is, and we want people to continue to know that. We're reminded at occasions like tonight of our epic founding and the people who sacrificed so much to set the foundation for SUU. Not only those that built Old Main or those that adorn the walls, but thousands of faculty, staff, students, alumni, and community members who have labored, served, sacrificed, and cared about our campus. Every one of you in this room count among those people tonight. I'd like to think our founders would be thrilled and proud to know that this university has prospered, that we built upon their foundation. To quote Sir Isaac Newton, we stand on the shoulders of giants. I hope our founders would be pleased with where we are today. Over 1,000 faculty and staff, 14,324 students, a thriving campus and community, and nearly $30 million in funding this year from our legislature. Let's put that 14,324 students in perspective. On our 100th anniversary that we celebrated in 1997, the celebration of the century, as Jerry titled it, our enrollment stood at 6,000. And that was after a decade and a half of escalation and focus on enrollments. I see heads shaking because we were all here at that time, and that was about right, right? To think of that, our enrollment has more than doubled in the last 25 years. What took 100 years to originally accomplish happened again, plus some, in 25 years. Those of you who are worried about our students parking in front of your house, don't worry. There's only 9,000 that are actually on campus. The rest have grown online. I want to talk about timing and the timing of you being here. It's my belief that leaders at this university have been put here at just the right time for what this university needed at that time. As you've seen from the presidents tonight, Presidents Benyon, Benson, and Wyatt each led at the right time in the life of this university and provided the needs of this university at this time. President Benyon brought enthusiasm, energy, and optimism, which made us believe anything is possible as he led the largest capital campaign in SUU history. We all purchased a new pair of sneakers to keep up with President Benson. President Benyon brought a connection to our history as the grandson of our first director, a warmth and infectious laughter and high fives which our campus and community sought. He was giving those high fives tonight. President Wyatt brought a focus on growth, helping SUU grow beyond 13,000 students. He led us into online education before COVID even necessitated it, and cultivated a spirit of innovation, creativity, and meeting the challenges of higher education. And Rich Kendall brought a steady hand, smart growth mentality, and served as the team builder when we needed it during the transition. I think of Fred and the leader he was at the time he was meant to be in, and what he contributed to the festival over 61 years ago. He changed the face of our community. I think of the Higbees and their time, the judge's time on the bench, the family impact in Cedar City. Each of them served at the time that they needed to be here. I would ask all of you, what is your purpose? And what were you meant to do at this time as part of this university? I look around the room at so many of our emeriti who gave 20 and 30 and 40 years teaching at this institution. I look at all of you who have helped build this university, and I know you were all placed here at the right time to make a difference. I would be remiss if I didn't mention President Gerald R. Sherritt. He was at the helm during the celebration of our first 100 years, and he eloquently brought forward the story of our founding to future generations. We found this quote which he shared on the 100th anniversary, and I think it's even more fitting this evening. He said, "Southern Utah University was founded by uncommon men and women. From its beginning, the university has always known that its ability to meet the challenges of today and tomorrow rests in large measure with the success it has in sustaining the legacy of its founders, a legacy which calls for superior standards and for the shared belief that nothing the university can foresee or sense or conceive is beyond the collective will of its students, faculty, staff, administration, and alumni. Isn't that fitting for tonight? It describes us so well. The lesson to be learned from our founders is that however difficult the task or however bright the future the university faces, everything is possible. Our success in the next 25 years and beyond will depend on the collective courage and the unity with our campus and community, the unity of those of us in the room and beyond. And if we do that, just as President Sherritt has said, everything is possible, and our university will continue to innovate, succeed, thrive, and grow together. Here's to our first 125 years, and I promise you we are just getting started. Thank you for being here tonight with us, and thank you for celebrating the 125th. We look forward to 125 years more. Thank you.